OpenAI, the company behind ChatGPT, just rolled out 2 new things that left users and investors scratching their heads and thinking, why did they resort to this? Those 2 things, Zora 2, which people are calling TikTok for AI-generated content, and an erotica version of ChatGPT for verified adults. I'm Grant with Phrasal Verb News, the show where you learn real English through real stories and walk away with something interesting to talk about with your colleagues. First, I'll break down the story, then explain the phrasal verbs with examples, y también les voy a dar una breve explicación en español para que todo quede más claro. Let's start with Zora 2. The new app lets users generate ultra-realistic videos of pretty much anyone, dead or alive. You could have Einstein rapping, Taylor Swift robbing a convenience store, or even your dog running for president. Now, at first, it may sound innocent or a bit entertaining, but critics say it could open a can of worms around copyright law, and in addition, each video reportedly costs OpenAI between $2 and $5 in computing power, so it's hard to see how this will become profitable. Then there's the other move, allowing adult content in ChatGPT. OpenAI says it's about creative freedom, but many people see it as a risky attempt to bring in more users and revenue at a time when the company's facing rising costs and investor pressure. But what's the big picture? Well, OpenAI is still banking on developing a super powerful AI that can one day replace millions of workers and reshape the economy as we know it. But with the latest updates, some say the company's on thin ice, walking a fine line between innovation and controversy. While these new tools might push the limits of what AI can do, they also raise the question, is OpenAI leading the future of tech, or just testing how far it can go before it runs out of money? Let's move on to today's expressions. As always, I'll explain what they mean, give examples from the story and business, and then a quick practice question for you to think about. Try to answer the question as soon as you hear it so you can use the new vocab right away. First, we have roll out. This means to officially launch or introduce something new. For example, OpenAI just rolled out Zora 2 and an adult version of ChatGPT, surprising users and investors. Apple will roll out its new iPhone next month. En español, es lanzar o poner en marcha. Por ejemplo, OpenAI lanzó 2 nuevos productos que causaron polémica. And a question, what's the most successful product your company has ever rolled out? Next, we have resort to. This means to do something undesirable or extreme because there's no better option. For example, critics say OpenAI had to resort to adult content to keep engagement high. After sales dropped, the team resorted to heavy discounts to attract customers. En español, es como recurrir a o verse obligado a. Por ejemplo, la empresa tuvo que recurrir a tácticas arriesgadas para generar ingresos. And a question, when was the last time you had to resort to a backup plan? Next, we have open a can of worms. This means to cause a complicated situation that will lead to a series of new problems. For example, allowing AI-generated celebrity videos could open a can of worms around copyright lawsuits. Changing the bonus system opened a can of worms the company wasn't ready for. En español, es como abrir la caja de Pandora o causar más problemas. Por ejemplo, la nueva política abrió la caja de Pandora de problemas legales. And a question, can you think of a company decision that opened a can of worms? Next, we have bring in. This means to attract or generate something like revenue, customers, or attention. For example, the adult ChatGPT feature aims to bring in more users and new income streams. The campaign brought in thousands of new subscribers. En español es como atraer, generar o captar. Por ejemplo, la nueva función busca atraer más usuarios y aumentar los ingresos. And a question: what strategy has helped your company bring in the most clients or customers? Next, we have bank on. This means to depend on or expect something to happen. For example, OpenAI is banking on developing a super powerful AI that could reshape the economy. Investors are banking on the startup becoming profitable next year. En español es como confiar en o apostar por. Por ejemplo, OpenAI apuesta por un IA super poderoso que cambiará el mercado laboral. And a question: what are you banking on to reach your next big goal? Lastly, we have on thin ice. This means to be in a risky or unstable situation, very close to failure or trouble. For example, with rising costs and controversy, some say OpenAI is on thin ice. The company was on thin ice after missing 2 quarterly targets. En español es como estar en una situación delicada o caminar sobre hielo delgado. Por ejemplo, la empresa está en una situación delicada tras las últimas polémicas. And a question: have you ever felt on thin ice at work trying to avoid mistakes under pressure? So to wrap up, OpenAI rolled out 2 surprising updates, and in doing so might have opened a can of worms. Critics say the company is resorting to risky tactics to bring in new users while it continues banking on a long-term AI future that could change everything. But for now, it may be on thin ice with regulators, investors, and the public. It's a reminder that in tech, innovation and controversy often go hand in hand. Gracias por escuchar. I'm Grant with Phrasal Verb News. Come back next time for more stories, more idioms, and more English.